Hello friends, and welcome to another video. Now this video is about my new amp, and it taught me a lesson, and this thing I want to share with you. So what you see here, by the way, is my amp upside down. It's in its development H frame, which is a bit stressed because, as you can see, it's actually a bit on an angle because it's so heavy of all the materials used. And this trend seems to continue. It's getting heavier and heavier. But back to the main topic. First, I want to introduce you what this amp is. So this amp is a Type 26 drives Type 46 drives Type 50. And in the layout here you can see those three tubes, so the 26, the 46 and the 50. And we can have a look on the side. So here you can see them. There's the 26, the 46 and the 50. And here you've got the rectifier, the 5 R4GY as a tube rectifier. So lots of power supply on this side, lots of capacitors on this side. And if you can see that there's very short signal paths. So if you look at the AC part of the signal, here you've got the B+, here you've got the tube. It's a very short loop. Everything is optimized to keep the shortest return loops within the amp. And the signal paths are also kept short. So the signal basically runs here from the inputs through the output transformer and back there. So everything is kept quite short. But as I indicated, this amp taught me something, and I've been looking, when you develop amps, you are establishing criteria for yourself, how it's performing. Does it sound live? Does it carry emotion very well? How are the dynamics? Is the response good? Does it have any sag in it? However, with this amp, all of those, a lot of technical criteria I wasn't interested in, because when I play this amp, it is actually, I forget about all these things like microdynamics, microdynamics, frequency response. It has some roll off in the lows. This one, it makes a little bit too noise because of the loading of these transformers. They need to be more over dimensioned, and yet in many ways I just don't care, because it does something right. It brings me in contact with, you can say, the fabric of the intention of the group playing, or the orchestra playing. You almost feel the fabric that binds it all together when it's playing. And once, in my experience, once the amp starts doing that and transferring that coherence, that performance as one thing, and it comes across as one thing in all its facets, all these technicalities, you can listen to them, but they're really not why music is made. And this is sort of the discovery that I made with this amp. Is really, let's compare a live venue and all the words you wouldn't use in a live venue when you're hearing music. So the music is produced live, doesn't matter what it is, amplified or not, classical music or not, doesn't really matter. But on a live performance, terms you wouldn't be knowing: stereo separation, dynamics, frequency response, transient response, THD, let's go further, channel separation, imaging, soundstage depth. How far do I need to go? All these words you would not even think of using in a live venue to judge your music. Yet, when, I would almost say, the blinding idiots that buy hi-fi start talking about how a system is performing, they suddenly start using all these words that have nothing to do with a live performance. And this is really what my amp demonstrated to me. It does the things that relate to music well. And yes, you know, I'm started using, on the advice of Janos from Real Wood Audio, I started using these KMAT DC link capacitors, and while they were burning in, what I could notice is the dynamics kept getting better and kept getting better over the week. So it's not that I can't notice these elements, but they're utterly irrelevant for my enjoyment of this amp. They're a very, very good technical solution, and it is the first time that I find that the caps have hardly any influence on the sound. They're almost indistinguishable here. And so I've got banks of high capacity, which usually would influence the sound, but for some reason these KMATs, even in these large capacities, because here basically every one of them is 45 UF, so we're talking 135 for the first stage, 135 for the second stage, and 180 for the Type 50 as the output stage. So, but and I can point out a lot of these technical things to you, but in the end, it's what pulls you into a live venue, which is the performance, which is the intention, the spirit, which I now call the fabric of the whole band playing together, the tightness of the band, the emotional the spirit, the soul that animates the music. Once an amp starts translating that, all these other things, yeah, you could still judge them, but really they're not the motivation that gets you into a live venue, or why you want to listen to live music, why you want to listen to a great performance. And yet, whenever I see an audio review or see a hi-fi person talking, all these elements, all these facets that I started rattling off, like stereo separation, soundstage dynamics, all those things is not why you go to a music performance. Yet for some reason, whatever happened in the history of hi-fi, dumb things like THD are why people buy their gear. It's almost flabbergasting, astoundingly silly, if I want to put it mildly. Why is this disconnect suddenly that we start judging the technical merits of gear that have no bearing on the musical performance? Why you would go to a musical performance? These things are completely separated. They're like night and day. So you have very, very, very odd experience. So this means also for me personally, as a future, maybe even future of this channel, but it means in my development that I will so like this amp. And yes, it can be improved, but there will be a lot of elements that I'm gonna stick with, and my initial plan is to stick with this 46 drives 50. Might have a couple of experiments, but I'm gonna really upgrade this amp in quality now. So that will be the new direction, because the core essence of what this amp does, that needs to be improved. And I expect that as I improve it, there will be some of these technical merits that are gonna be upped. Like I might get more clarity, I might get more resolving power of this amp. But none of these are drivers what I'm looking for. They can only be a side effect of the main thing doing well, which is extracting a performance that is emotionally engaging, that is attractive to listen to, that is beautiful, that has the beauty of the recording in it. And incidentally, it's a lot of pre-1965 recordings that actually sound really well, that have, with this amp, have started sounding much better. You know, here we've got this album here, and there's other albums as well, but they've just skyrocketed in the way that they sound good. Modern music also sounds good, but really, when it's unadulterated performance that is not processed too much, this amp just brings it to you, and it's so I hope to sort of improve this more without actually falling in the trap of technicalities, and that has happened with me quite a lot in previous amps, and so it is I guess this video is just, if you want to be satisfied with your music and you're not really satisfied, start thinking along these lines why you would enter a live performance, and then what your gear needs to do to extract the live performance in the same way with the same values, and can it bring to you that. That requires a whole new vocabulary. And so that's really the point I had to make. I think it's clear enough. Yeah, just a couple of other elements that I implemented in this amp, and I don't know how they contributed, but I did. One of the things I did is because these are all directly heated tubes, they're all running on DC now. The DC is either regulated or at least has a minimum an LC stage before, so it has a common mode choke and a capacitor before it actually goes here. So they're all highly filtered, highly cleaned up before going to the tube. And this one actually has a CL classic power supply, the 26, because it's the first tube. All the errors get magnified. So I paid a lot of attention into, basically all of the attention of this whole amp is in the quality of the power supply. And that probably has led to it being a far more emotionally engaging and better sounding amp. It is very alluring, this type. So anyway, we'll do some other videos perhaps on this later. Let me know what elements you're also interested in, and I might do a video on it. This is my report so far, what this amp has done for me. More videos probably to follow. Thank you for tuning in to my channel, and hope to catch you in the next video. Until then, have a brilliant week, have a brilliant day, and I'll hope to catch you soon. Bye bye.